Listeners have been asking for an update on how reopening is actually unfolding across the United States. While it's still too early to give a definitive assessment, things are clearly shaky. Even before colleges began to open, the data was not reassuring. Simpson Scarborough, an educational research and marketing firm, released a study that found that 40% of incoming freshmen who had previously planned to attend a four-year residential college now say they are likely or highly likely not to attend any four-year college this fall. 40%. That same study found that only 25% of returning students strongly agree that their institutions will take the necessary steps to keep students safe. And only 7% of students strongly agree that they trust fellow students to follow safety guidelines. Inside Higher Ed reporter Emma Whitford, who has appeared previously as a guest on my podcast, reports that hundreds of colleges have reversed or altered their reopening plans in the last several weeks after assessing COVID-19 testing availability, student and faculty concerns, state regulations, and concerns about the rising number of coronavirus cases, both nationally and in their own communities. I will put a link to her article in the notes below. As examples of institutional reversals of in-person reopening plans, Smith College in Massachusetts announced last week it would not bring students back to campus this fall, citing new scientific evidence. Mount Holyoke College, also in Massachusetts, announced it would also not reopen for in-person instruction this fall. The Berklee College of Music in Boston has decided it will conduct classes virtually for the fall semester. Goucher College outside of Baltimore, Salem College in North Carolina have also eliminated plans for in-person instruction. Likewise, many colleges have altered their plans to delay in-person start dates. The University of Maryland has delayed the start of the fall semester for 2 weeks. Brown University of Rhode Island has put off commencing classes until October at the earliest. Winthrop University of South Carolina has delayed until September 7th. Miami University, Illinois State University, individual campuses within the University of California, and dozens of other institutions have also delayed in-person start dates. These delays may indeed make sense from a safety or policy perspective, but they do little to reassure students that returning to campus will be safe. Further dissuading students from returning are increased expenses that campuses are passing along to students. Some colleges are asking students to pay their share of the costs for COVID screening and testing, as well as the costs associated with reconfiguring campus facilities. Merrimack College in Massachusetts is charging a COVID mitigation fee of $475 per semester to all students taking in-person classes. Other colleges, like the University of Michigan and St. Michael's College in Vermont, are charging a semester fee as well. Elon University in North Carolina is sending home testing kits to incoming students and charging them $129 for the test. Other colleges say that they will not bill students directly for tests until their insurance companies have decided whether or not to cover them, but it's not clear who will pay for testing in cases where insurance declines coverage. On the one hand, most insurance companies will not reimburse for asymptomatic testing, which is what nearly all these tests are. However, it is possible that insurance companies might cover the tests if they are part of a college's formal entrance requirements. Meanwhile, schools are, one by one, reopening, although at the time of this video, less than a quarter of the nation's 5,000 colleges have committed to providing instruction primarily or completely in person. I'd like to know what your school is doing. Feel free to share how your school is handling reopening this fall in the comments below. And speaking of the comments below, now is a good time to give me feedback on this video. And if you're interested in what you've heard, please hit that like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be notified of new videos when they're released. It's obvious that teachers who are conducting in-person classes are approaching the situation with ingenuity, resolve, sensitivity, and good humor. Over the last weeks, I've talked with many teachers and seen many online posts from teachers who are determined to model behavior for students and provide the best possible learning environment. Here's a great example from drama teacher Paul Molnar of Independence Community College. I love this one. Because of the ever-slowing pace of reopening, it's just too early to know the health consequences and enrollment impact the coronavirus will have on the fall semester. The data still looks positive for community colleges. In the Simpson Scarborough survey that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, in which 40% of incoming freshmen reported they were likely or highly likely not to attend any four-year college this year, It was also reported that 28% of current students who have the option to return to their campus said they are not going back or haven't decided yet. I have no doubt that some portion of both the 40% group and the 28% group will choose to attend a community college instead. That said, one thing fighting against an increase in community college attendance is the fact that the same students who report that they don't plan to return to their four-year college also cite safety as their number one reason, and community colleges are much more likely than four-year colleges to be offering classes in person. I think that as the semester unfolds, there are really three things that the higher education community will be monitoring. First, of course, is whether schools will really be able to create a truly safe environment for students. And equally significant, how many students will actually be infected? Second, what will be the impact on enrollment, which clearly translates to a financial impact for colleges? Third, and to me, this may be the most intriguing question of all, if schools face significant outbreaks, how will they respond? Most schools do not address this eventuality in their pandemic plans. They can tell you what they will do with individual students who test positive, but most have not published some threshold number of infections that trigger changing course for the entire school, let alone what that change of course would actually look like in practice. After all, can schools really just close up shop, send everyone home, and switch to online like they did in the spring semester? To me, the parallels with the spring semester are not very good because relatively few people had contracted the coronavirus in March of this year, and schools closed their campuses as a preventive measure, not in response to widespread cases. Colleges really need to understand that for many campuses, there will be significant spread of the virus, and it would be the height of irresponsibility at that point to then redistribute those newly infected students back to all of their hometowns. Although schools can't prevent individual students from leaving, they can also refuse to foist a problem they helped create on hundreds of hometowns throughout the country. Regardless of what develops on campus, I think that schools need to prepare for the reality of housing their residential students for the entire semester, regardless of their health. I hope this information has been helpful to you, and I hope that you are safe and healthy. I look forward to talking with you again next week.